I've read over 50 books on discipline, human behavior, and psychology, so you don't have to, and here's what you need to know. If you listen to this content, then you ultimately take the responsibility to then apply it, because we know that only applied knowledge is power. And if you apply this to your business, fitness, health, whatever it is that you're wanting to improve, you will see significant improvement in those areas. And that is because they all rely on one key skill, and that is the ability to flex your discipline muscle. In this video, I'm going to cover what is discipline, why should you care, and how to implement it into your daily routine using 3 psychology-based techniques. Okay, so firstly, what is discipline? Discipline is the ability to stick and follow through on your goals despite distractions and lack of motivation. One of my favorite things to do to actually ingrain things into my brain, because we hear discipline all the time, right? Like discipline. You see Jocko Willink, David Goggins, and it's almost seen as like this masculine trait, but it's actually needed for every area of your life to be able to succeed and evolve as a human being. So the way I like to understand it is just to invert it, okay? So when we think of discipline, if we think, what is the opposite of discipline? So the opposite of discipline would be not following through, inconsistency. It would be relying on motivation rather than having a consistent routine. So discipline relies on systems, which means it's in our control and we can implement it into our routine intentionally. But if we look at motivation relies on emotion. It relies on actually feeling like doing something. And let's be real, like when was the last time you actually really felt like eating really, really healthy or really felt like going for a 10-kilometer run? I mean, some people do when they're already in the habit of it and they know how good it feels. But if you're not in that routine yet, there's no way that you're naturally just going to feel like that on a consistent basis. You might feel like it once a month, once a year, but you're never going to reach your goals just waiting to feel like it. So we rely on discipline as a skill rather than motivation as an emotion. So why should you care? A lack of discipline leads to a lack of self-worth. So the way you can think about this is if you had a friend that you kept booking in for a coffee with on a Monday morning, you'd say 9 a.m., I'll be there, and you rock up, you've pulled yourself out of bed, you've gotten yourself ready, and they don't show. You'd probably be a little bit upset, but you'd understand. But the next week, you book it in again, they do the same thing again. Naturally, you're going to start losing trust in their ability to follow through. And when they say they're going to do something, you'd probably be like, yeah, okay, we'll see. So why would it not be the same for yourself? You're telling yourself you're going to wake up at 6, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to start your business, you're going to start posting content, but you keep not following through. So how do you expect to have self-trust, self-worth, self-confidence when you don't even trust the words that you say? So when you start this habit of not following through, you start to lose your self-confidence, because self-confidence is really just having the self-trust that when you say you're going to do something, you will do it. You should also care because a lack of discipline leads to a hard life. One of my favorite quotes is, hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life. So choosing the hard option that feels uncomfortable in the moment is going to lead to you building stronger habits, self-confidence, and ultimately being able to stretch out of your comfort zone and reach your goals is going to mean an easier life later on. Now, on the opposite side, if you're always leaning towards what feels comfortable in the moment, you're always going to end up procrastinating, neglecting your responsibility, not following through on your goals, which means a lack of personal growth long term, which is going to lead to a harder life later on. Okay, so now that you know you need discipline within your life to reach your goals, reach your potential, we're going to talk about 3 psychology-based techniques that you can actually implement this into your routine. Number 1 is Parkinson's law. You've probably heard of Parkinson's law, or you would have experienced it. If you've done anything like uni, school, you've had a business, whatever it is, and you've set yourself a deadline that was way too long, guaranteed the task that you set, it took that amount of time, even if it was way too much. And that's because Parkinson's law states that work will expand to the time that we allocate for it. So if you have a task that really should only take around a week's time, but you set yourself a 3-month deadline, you're probably going to get it done in the last week of that 3 months, but you'll still get it done in a week, but it's going to take that 3 months to actually complete the task, meaning you're delaying your growth, your progress for that time. And that's because that time is going to fill. You're not going to do nothing with it. You'll probably procrastinate. You'll work on other tasks that are unimportant and make you feel like you're progressing. You're going to fill that time anyway until it comes to that deadline, and then you're finally going to work on it. So the way that we can do this is again by inverting it and use that in our favor. So one thing that we do with version 2.0 is we condense a 12-month goal into 12 weeks. Right? So we're shrinking that down and we're building it down to like those compound movements that are going to make the most progress. So then we can achieve things that we thought would take a full year, literally within 3 months. It's crazy. You need to try it. Next up is decision fatigue. Decision making is just like a muscle. The more that you use it throughout the day, the more it's going to fatigue and function less efficiently. So the most successful people, they reduce that decision fatigue by making systems around smaller decisions that shouldn't be taking up that mental capacity. So if you think about it, something like eating healthy, you shouldn't have to use that mental energy to be able to follow through on that. So what successful people would do, they would put systems in place to make sure that they're doing that. They'd meal prep healthy meals. They would only buy groceries that align with the food that they want to eat. So they're not having to contemplate, should I eat healthy? Shouldn't I eat healthy? No, that's just a system. They follow through on that. So then when it comes to more important tasks, like things that are going to move their business forward, their personal mission, they can use a maximum amount of that energy to make sure that those decisions get the importance that they're needing. So create systems around the behaviors that you want to have each day, and that'll reduce the energy that it takes to complete that task. So say that you want to build the habit of going to the gym in the morning. Something as simple as putting in a system around putting your clothes out the night before, booking in your class, that is going to reduce the decision-making fatigue of following through on that activity. And that also means you're more likely to follow through, but you'll also have more energy for more important tasks like your business and creative projects. Last but not least is loss aversion. This is one of my favorite topics, and it basically says that humans by nature are more likely to move away from loss than they are to move towards gain. And that is even if the loss is very, very unlikely. So this principle dictates how we spend money, how we make decisions, and how we interact with others. So my favorite way to use loss aversion is a framing effect called what do I stand to lose? So if you're thinking about a goal that you're moving towards, and say that the thing that's separating you between scaling your business is investing into a mentor. So if you've been putting that off because you're going to lose money by investing into that, or you're going to, you're just worried about what that outcome will be, you can flip that and you can say, what do I stand to lose if I don't invest into a mentor? So if I keep trying to figure out things by myself, I'm DIY, I've been doing this for the last 5 years and I've been stagnant. What do I stand to lose if I keep letting that way of thinking dictate my actions and not get the guidance I need? Well, then I'm probably going to lose another 5 years just treading water. I'm going to lose a lot of money for my business. I'm going to lose family time. So that framing is going to completely flip the way that you make decisions. So use those 3 techniques to start implementing discipline into your daily routine. It will be a game changer. But if you're an entrepreneur and you still feel stuck, you have this information, you know what you need to be doing, but you're still stagnant, you need to check out version 2.0 Pro. That is exactly why we founded that community, to connect entrepreneurs and help them overcome limiting beliefs, procrastination, and self-doubt, which is holding them back from reaching that next version of themselves. So if that does feel like you, feel free to check out the link in my bio, book a call, and we'll chat further about how we could potentially